이렇게 만나뵙게 돼서 정말 반갑습니다.
It's very nice to see and meet all of you here today.
CH에 오니까 상당히 긴장이 됩니다.
It's very nervous today. I'm very nervous to be here today.
그 이유는 투쟁의 현장에 왔기 때문입니다.
That is because I am sitting at the spot of the protest which happened 3 years ago.
2006년의 역사적인 투쟁, 그 FTA에 반대하는 역사적인 한미 노동자들이, 한미 시민사회단체들이 함께 모여서 역사적인 투쟁을 했던 곳입니다.
It's a very historical site, perhaps, where the Korean workers, Korean NGOs, American workers, American NGOs all got together and protested together.
정말 뜻깊은 자리인 것 같습니다.
Very special.
FTA는 한국과 미국의 노동자들, 그다음에 민중들의 삶을 악화시킬 수밖에 없습니다.
The FTA will most certainly deteriorate the lives of the Korean people.
복지를 빼앗고요.
Because it takes away social welfare from the people.
일자리의 질을 나쁘게 만들 것입니다.
And because it will reduce the quality of the jobs they have.
더구나 한미 FTA는 노동권에 대한 보장이 전혀 안 되어 있습니다.
And the Korean FTA especially disregards the working rights and the workers' rights.
때문에 한미 FTA는 애초부터 있어서는 안 될 협정이라고 생각합니다.
Therefore, we believe that FTA shouldn't have been here in the first place.
When we're so worried about jobs being offshored, and jobs are being offshored in a big way, the trade component is a big component. But for many of our trading partners, the other countries, the investment provisions are the more important provisions. If you look at what's actually in these trade agreements, the bulk of it is about investment rules. It's not about tariffs and quotas. And these provisions are all about giving special rights to foreign investors that reduce labor's power, reduce environmental protections, reduce consumer protections, while giving power to the investor. Say Hyundai comes to the U.S. or General Motors goes to Korea, and there's a new law passed saying, oh, we're going to have maternity leave now for 6 months, or 6 weeks even, and employers have to pay for that. Well, that's cutting into my expectation of profits. You as the foreign government have to compensate me for that under the Korea-U.S. Free Trade Agreement. I mean, these are the provisions that working people in other countries are most concerned about.
Like an example that I have, and I can give you a little more information here, is on illegal logging in Indonesia. And so this is just an example where the steelworkers in the Sierra Club work on a particular issue of being able to track where products come from, and that there's a difference in how a product is made. So if you have an FSC certified timber product that a municipality or a government wants to purchase and prioritize over illegal logging, that's actually not allowed. Because under these trade rules, a product is a product is a product. It doesn't matter who it was made by. It doesn't matter what the ingredients are. It doesn't matter, if it's a compact fluorescent light bulb or an energy hog light bulb. It's a light bulb, and so we can't distinguish between on our purchasing products. Government funding can't make that distinguish.
One issue that I think I will talk about for a second that stands in for many other such things that are happening, and that's the issue of screen quotas and cultural diversity, which I'll just talk about briefly. Screen quotas is a shorthand term for a national film industry establishing quotas on how many films created in that country, how many endogenous films must be shown in order to protect a country from, in effect, dumping of products from other countries, mainly the U.S., who produce films here on a big scale, recover their investment in the U.S., and then can offer them overseas for a much reduced price, which is often such a lower price that it has a destabilizing effect on other nations' film industries. A very significant impact of that through NAFTA was Mexico. Mexico had a substantial screen quota, which gave support to a vibrant Mexican film industry. Before NAFTA, we saw about 100 films a year being produced as part of that industry. In the 10 years after NAFTA, that number dropped from 100 to just 4. A devastating impact on that film industry. In Korea, where there's also a vibrant film industry protected by a screen quota, the U.S. Actually used its political clout to force the Korean government to cut its screen quota in half as a precondition for even coming to the table to negotiate. And that was done without any, even the process that goes through in the negotiations was not followed there. It was cut in half in 2007, so we haven't actually seen the effects of that in the Korean film industry yet because of the time it takes to produce feature films. But I think that's a significant thing to look at, especially as Arthur noted, that this agreement is a trade agreement which is larger in scale than anything we've seen since NAFTA, and will certainly be used as the template for additional such agreements with other countries in Asia and elsewhere in the future.
There was a really comprehensive study done at the 10-year mark of NAFTA in 2004 by the Carnegie Foundation, which found that overall poverty had increased in Mexico as a direct result of NAFTA, income inequality had increased, and undocumented immigration from Mexico to the United States had increased sixfold over the 10 years of the agreement. And the same results have been demonstrated through the Central America Free Trade Agreement, which was implemented in 2003 in its first 8 years. The Fair Citizens Trade Campaign and the Korean workers are pointing out the Korea-U.S. trade agreement does not alter the fundamental workings of trade relations that came from NAFTA, and so we should expect similar results.
실증 분석을 했습니다.
So to study this, a professor from some Korean university did a study on this.
그 교수님의 이름은 이성형이고요.
That professor's name is Lee Sung-hyung.
멕시코 그 지역의 그 임금 인상 그 상황이나 노동 조건을 분석을 했더니요.
He did studies on Mexican worker wages and quality of the laborers.
나프타 체결 이전보다 훨씬 악화된 것으로 드러났습니다.
And as we all know, after NAFTA, the Mexican labor wages have dropped, their quality of work dropped, their quality of products dropped, everything just declined.
그러한 이제 실증 분석을 통해서도 저희는 충분히 알 수 있다고
So
생각을
through studies like that, I think the Course FTA, we've proven that Course FTA will be detrimental to both of us, both of our states.
One thing I just think about is I think this is the first FTA that's come up since the global economic crisis, and this is something that was written in an old model, an old framework. And I think with the economic crisis, with the BP oil spill, with a lot of places where we've seen corporate accountability kind of going out the window, it's time to also examine the way that trade is done, the freedoms that corporations are given, and the lack of accountability that these kinds of agreements provide across the board.
I just want to say 2 comments about the photos that were just handed around, because I've seen the full presentation that these come from. The first is that the strikes with 170,000 workers in 2006 happened 12 times that year, basically once a month. And people brought out on strike. And then just a highlight in between in 2008, when the movement expanded well beyond just labor, 700,000 people were in the streets doing massive candlelight vigils. So South Koreans have a lot to teach us about organizing, certainly.